a little early.
It is.
Hush.
That's right.
More than one.
So I take allergy medicine. I do like Sudafed, which is what, yeah, so we have to show you the trailers. Yeah. Daily, no, what daily will. Yeah, I was thinking, oh, I'm just getting a little sugar. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. 81 now? Yeah, that is a good thing. I'm not a wild. Yeah. Hate to have everything end because of the grill. Yeah. I was doing so good. And then I didn't like that's it. It was all over. I was on the Skid Row.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, February 18th. Time is now 6 o'clock. This is a regular meeting for the City Council of the City of Trinidad. I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I appreciate that we have a full house. Please be mindful to take off gentlemen hats and to make sure your cell phones are either muted or turned off. Will you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 1 is roll call.
DeBono?
Here.
Shu?
Here.
Thurman?
Here.
Trujillo?
Here.
Ogletree?
Here.
Williamson?
Here.
Griego?
Here. For those that you can't see the television screen, Councilman Ogletree is attending remotely. Item number 2, approval of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda as listed.
So moved.
Shu motioned. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that you, Thurman? Oh, Williamson. Okay. You guys have been sitting around so much, you kind of act and talk alike. Call for the vote, please.
Williamson?
Yes.
Ogletree?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Trujillo?
Yes.
DeBono?
Yes.
Shu?
Yes.
Griego?
Yes. Item 3A, policy items and staff reports. Item 3A is Chelsea Meese, Systems Coordinator, Los Angeles and Huerfano Counties homelessness update.
Hi guys.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you for coming.
Thank you, appreciate being back. Alright, so am I timed on this?
You're
this
not?
time?
No, ma'am.
Perfect. Just want to make sure. I can talk fast again, but that's a lot.
No half hour.
Oh, no.
Like Mark.
I have a very few set of things that I want to talk through and share with you guys. So, The first thing that I wanted to share stems from a question that Erin had last meeting that we were talking about. I apologize that I am so ingrained in the actual work that when she asked about statewide initiatives, I forgot that there's a complete playbook that I have memorized, and so I wanted to bring you guys a copy of the Colorado Making Homelessness History in Colorado playbook, because all of the practices and everything that I will be implementing here will also be some of the strategies that are within here. So I'll get this here. One of those things is the cross-cutting approaches that Colorado has put into place, which includes real-time, person-specific data, and that's where, when we speak about this by-name list, that's where we are beginning in that, and that's where we're taking some of that approach from. So let's dive into some results. So last time I was here, we talked about the point-in-time count that was going to be happening, where we were going out and counting all individuals who we possibly could who are unhoused throughout the county. I was lucky enough to have 11 amazing volunteers here in the county who helped me go out and count everyone. And so we were able to not only complete our count, but we also were able to start our by name list since I've seen you guys last, and I will pass around the results to that. You in there have results for both Los Animas and Huerfano counties. It is a front and back sheet just in case if you would like to compare that. Actually, I need a copy of that if I'm going to have it. So, on that sheet, if we start at the top side, this amazing team of volunteers and myself got 121 unhoused individuals or families counted within this. We have 56 on our by name list. Yes, those numbers are different, and to tell you why, some individuals are in transitional or emergency shelter with ADA. Some individuals are youth. We do have the youth count below that, and then some individuals did refuse to participate in giving their actual names in that. So that is where the differentiator in there goes, but as you can see, you have 11 youth or 17 youth within the county under the age of 25 who are currently experiencing homelessness. So that for me is a very large number, and then not counting all of the 121 adults that were counted in that. So if we break down the adults that made it onto the by name list, you'll see that we have 34 men, 20 women, and 2 non-binary or did not answer individuals. It breaks it down by race and ethnicity there, but the age that you have on your streets currently is between 1 and 73. In Huerfano County, their ages are 15 to 68, so I feel as if we're pretty accurate on that range. There are children on your streets right now. So the bigger number that really struck me is that when we talked before about the transient versus chronic homelessness, you have 37 individuals who have been out there for over a year. I've reported that. In conjunction, Huerfano County has 14 of their individuals. So chronic homelessness is very large in this area, as well as just transient homelessness who are just passing through, or maybe they're here for a couple months. The survey went all the way down to, it broke it down into less than a week, less than a week, between a week and a month, between a month and 90 days, between 90 days and 6 months, and then 6 months plus to a year or over that. So that's how we kind of define chronic homelessness after that point, is up over a year. I know one of the things that we talk about when we talk about homelessness is why not just get a job? So you actually have 9 individuals on the streets who are currently employed. You have 32 who are seeking employment, and 11 of the 15 who aren't seeking employment or are not currently employed are currently disabled or have a chronic health condition. So yes, I came across, out of the 121 that we counted, 4 individuals who said they don't care to have a job, it doesn't matter. And the longest time that somebody's been out there for Los Animas County was 24 years. So after 24 years, that reintegration at that point is extremely difficult. You have 6 veterans out there, 19 individuals are seeking recovery, and then there's this little word bubble that kind of talks about what their wants, needs, and barriers are. Your people out there want to work. They want jobs. They want to be able to be successful. It does not exist here. Because some of the statistics that I've come across in my research thus far come to show that both Los Animas and Huerfano counties have the highest rate of unemployment in Colorado itself. They both are tied at 6.6% of the population being unemployed, and they're the only two who are over 6% in the state. Outside of that, you guys rank number 1 in a couple other things, including the highest rate of opioid and meth overdose fatalities, ranked number 2 for benzos and opioid prescriptions being dispensed, and the highest drug overdoses overall for the state, and then number 3 for highest overdose emergency room visits. I cannot imagine what your hospital nurses are going through right now. Like, I'm shaking because I feel for them. I also feel for the individuals who are on the streets who are dealing with this. So they want, need, and deserve this employment. I feel like as city council, that is something that you guys can immediately start helping contribute to, creating jobs for people, especially people who may have a record, people who need entry-level positions, and then not only that, but mental health services and recovery resources. We have Keep Trinidad Safe, who I am employed through, who I know does a wonderful peer recovery service for individuals, but we still need to be able to work together to build more, because this is literally a crisis down here. And so I want to thank you guys for going over to Alamosa, those of you guys who did. Thank you for going over to Alamosa and seeing their encampment. I hope that that has come back with you, that some discussions have started in terms of that, because I've set a goal date after speaking not only with my team and on my side of things, but with a bunch of small business owners here, and the goal date to have an encampment open is June 1st. That way, not only do our people have a safe place to go to, then we also have our small businesses who can have a thriving tourist season, and then we can really dive into alternative options after that. But that is going to be our first step to helping every person in this community moving forward. And so I ask that we do that. The ideal would be to decide a location by March, secure the location by April, break ground and prep it through May, and then open on June 1st. So I know that there are some ideas out there. There have been at least 3 very prominent locations that I know have been discussed, and I would like to discuss with you guys further. I do feel like that's a lot of information right now, and so I'd like to entertain questions if you guys have them, but the encampment is the next step, whether that is touring these locations or going out and actually doing another work session about it. I don't know what you guys would like to do for the next step, but we have to do something. Okay, so thank you, I appreciate you, and I'll entertain any questions that you have over anything that I discussed.
Eli, do you have any questions?
No. Questions? No, thank you again.
Thank you.
Chelsea. Appreciate all your work. No questions.
Any questions, Mayor?
I have a couple. So, the stats pretty prove out what I've been thinking all along, that we don't have the mental health services or the drug addiction services in Trinidad to help these people even if they wanted it. Is that a true statement, Chelsea?
After looking over not only the 2025 snapshot, which is where that ranking came from, that was released a couple weeks ago, after looking back over historical data on that snapshot, it is very apparent that this has been a very neglected area when it comes to mental resources. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 licensed psychologists even within the region. So yes, that is definitely one of the larger supports that is not currently present here.
Does the state have any facilities that will assist? Like, there used to be a state hospital for people that are having mental issues. Is that still a resource or no?
So I do know that residential facilities have kind of, legislatively kind of been downtrodden. I know of a few, not necessarily something that I have driven so deeply into. I would suggest that we look into what the mental resources that we currently have, kind of look at what there is and then kind of fill in those gaps. But there's, I would say addiction or substance use disorder services are highly on there. Yeah, and because there's only a certain level that I see that does exist here. So there needs to be, I know that people are going out of the community to get treatment. And so if we can bring some sort of treatment here, that creates permanency. And when we're trying to solve homelessness, permanency creation is one of the key priorities that we want to make sure that we take advantage of. So,
Whenever you're ready to start touring, I see you, Aaron. I'm sorry, I stepped in front of you. But Aaron Ogletree has some questions. Go ahead, Aaron.
I was taking notes when you were talking, and I wanted to make sure I heard you say correctly. We have the highest overdose rate for a community in the state of Colorado. Is that what you said?
oh, there's multiple. Hold on one second, let me pull this back up. So to be clear, we are number one for highest rate of opioid overdose fatalities, number one for meth overdose fatalities, number two for benzodiazepine prescriptions being dispensed, number two for opioid prescriptions being dispensed, number two for highest drug overdoses overall, and number three for highest overdose emergency room visits.
Well, that's very concerning. And I thank you for putting this together and letting us know about it. I know that the opioid settlement put us into a region where we were supposed to use resources in Pueblo, I think, for opioid treatment. Are we doing that? Do you know if that's happening or anything? There were supposed to be residential spots available to our community in that region.
As far as me knowing that, no, I don't know where the opioid settlement money has gone here. I've had discussions in Morfino County about being able to access some of theirs because it is supposed to directly come towards the community in which we are serving here. But as far as where they're at now, where they ended up getting dispensed to, I have no idea about any of that.
We should probably track that down. And thank you for finding that resource. I will look forward to taking a look at it, the statewide approach. Thank you very much for your work.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Anybody else have any questions? Thank you, Chelsea.
Can I have one more?
Thank you for your hard work too.
Yes,
That's
thank you.
really
Yes.
did a lot of work
Thank
in a couple
you.
of weeks.
I appreciate that. I just want to, I guess, am I able to request a date for a work session to kind of discuss these locations further? Or, I know now is not the appropriate time, but.
You can request anything you want, whether we'll grant it or not. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, get a hold of either Audra or Mike and set up a
Okay.
schedule, and then they'll just disperse the information to the council.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys again. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Information. Item number 4, petitions or communications, oral or written. This is the public comment section, as it offers an opportunity for citizens to express their opinions. Please keep in mind that you have 5 minutes to speak. Mr. Downs is our timekeeper. He will give you a 1-minute warning, and then you will be able to speak after that. First speaker is Jason Decker.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and fellow citizens. My name is Jason Decker, and I'm here tonight not only as a member of the LTAB board, but someone deeply invested in the economic future of Trinidad. I adamantly deny the claims made against me and will not voluntarily resign as the vice chair of the LTAB board. I ask that you remove my name from the consent agenda while you're researching what I will discuss today. I believe I'm here because I've been firm in my serious concerns about the lack of transparency, mismanagement of funds, and the critical need for accountability in how our lodging tax dollars are spent. I believe this is what a board member is supposed to do. I have some quick points for you. The need for a strong tourism economy. The key to weathering the current economic challenges in Trinidad is a healthy and growing tourism economy. More visitors to our town means higher wages, increased tax revenue, and a thriving business community. It's not just about filling hotel rooms, it's about creating jobs, supporting local businesses, and assuring long-term economic stability. But to achieve that, we need smart, accountable management of our tourism funds. Lack of budget transparency. The LTAB's primary responsibility is overseeing the lodging tax budget, yet in my nearly 2 years on the board, I've only seen this budget 5 times max. When we ask for it, we face pushback from city staff, being questioned as to why we need access to the very budget we are supposed to advise on. This is unacceptable and completely undermines the purposes of this board. Transparency should not be an issue when dealing with public funds. I encourage you to reference my email earlier for more detail on challenges from city staff. Misuse of funds. When we get access to the budget, we find major discrepancies that raise serious concerns. The voters of Trinidad passed Measure 2A under the promises that we would support trail building and maintenance under the maintenance improvements and developing of recreational facilities and programming budget item. Instead, we see this budget being used for an existing staff member's salary, which was never part of the intended use, and things like funding the Santa Fe Trail Days, which is an important event, is not related to this line item. Just these 2 unauthorized expenses alone make it impossible to properly fund the very initiatives that were promised to voters. We were told this year there would be no trail building and likely no trail maintenance in this $222,000 budget. This is not what citizens voted for. Marketing budget. One of the most concerning issues is the city's removal of the LTAB's access to the marketing agency in 2025. This is roughly a $300,000 budget, a massive portion of our funds, and also a $40,000 new website project this year. Those of us with over 3 decades of industry experience are completely shut out of the process. City staff who do not have experience in this field are now solely managing this budget. The individual overseeing this marketing effort was previously responsible for allowing our tourism website to go down for nearly a month during the busiest time of year. Since our removal from the process, we've seen contract deliverables missed, delayed, or mismanaged. The LTAB board must be allowed to regularly engage with a marketing agency where this spending will continue to be ineffective. Accountability. As Trinidad's newest hotelier, I live in a world of accountability. I run a business where myself and my team must perform or face consequences. The same should apply to city staff managing critical tourism and economic development initiatives. Currently, we have a tourism manager that's been in this role for 7 years and an outdoor recreation manager 4 years, and have faced significant challenges in achieving measurable growth in their respective areas. Fortunately, Trinidad has not seen the expected progress in these areas. Additional concerns have been raised about our city as perceived at the state level and among local tourism partners, which may have impacted opportunities for funding and support, and I'm happy to share more specific examples to illustrate these concerns.
1 minute.
How much longer will we accept the lack of action and lack of growth? Until we have qualified, capable leaders who are held accountable for results, we will continue to struggle. We need qualified tourism professionals on staff, and we currently do not have that. Removing the inexperienced tourism professional from the board is desperately needed. The mismanagement has led to a group of stakeholders to explore options for a third-party organization to manage the lodging tax budget, removing it from city staff control. This is very common in cities around Colorado. This would encourage transparency, accountability, and professional oversight. I hope council will support this effort, as you'll be hearing more about it soon. I encourage the city council to prioritize these responsible management of these funds, ensuring they are spent as intended for the benefit of our community, and I urge everyone here tonight to demand answers, transparency, and demand better for Trinidad. All of you have my phone number. I highly would love to talk to you about this further off the record. Please contact me. These are very concerning things, and I would love to discuss it further. Thank you for your time.
Dan Rossetti wants to talk about the utility pricing.
Evening, Council. I'm here, just some concerns of the hearing 2 weeks ago on the utility raising. Actually, that's the only time citizens could ask questions. Yeah, you did talk about it at 2 work sessions, another council meeting. Citizens have no chance to ask you questions. The only time was 15 minutes before you guys voted. But to go on with that, every superintendent that got up there spoke that the price increase was for things that needed to be done out on the street, infrastructure. Everything they mentioned should have been fixed 10, 15 years ago. Am I not lying? Everything they mentioned 10 to 15 years ago. Guess what? The city had money 10, 15 years ago. Why didn't it get fixed? As you've seen on Facebook, everybody, big question, where's the marijuana money? Right here's 10 years of where the marijuana money went. I got it. Anybody wants it, get a hold of me. I'll let you look at it. $19.5 million in 10 years. What a lot of citizens don't know, that's 4% state tax that the state sent the city. City also collected 3% city tax on top of that. It's another $15.5 million. That's $35 million in 10 years. Not a single infrastructure thing done in there. Some questionable things in here, but we're not going to get into that right now. But why wasn't stuff done long ago? I made a comment on social media about tonight's backhoe and change order. Well, I got a call from the city employee that, what's my concerns? I said, well, they're getting up there saying infrastructure, we have no money, so that's why we have to raise our utility rates. Yet, we're gonna spend $300,000 on something that there's other backhoes inside the city. And the reason I got for the change order made no sense at all to me. We'll see if that's the same reason they say to you people tonight. So, the other deal is, I was accused of retaliating against city employees, that I'm picking on them, and it's just a vendetta I have against them. Everything I say is a fact. If it's associated with the city employee, that's not my fault if it makes them look bad. Is it? It's a fact. As a matter of fact, I encourage all council, ask this gentleman right here, and if you want, ask me. There was a time when city manager, city clerk, the HR, my daughter, and her attorney had a meeting. They kept that meeting away from me for 2 years because they knew if I knew what happened in that meeting, there would have been some problems inside the city. So if I want to hurt somebody, trust me, I can. And when you hear what it's about, you don't want it to happen right at this time, and neither does the people involved. So I encourage you all, ask the city manager what that's all about. Thank you.
I have a letter regarding on petitions and communications. This gentleman couldn't come to the meeting tonight. Fellow Mayor, City Council, and citizens of Trinidad, I am extremely disappointed to learn that Mr. Jason Decker, a board member of the Lodging Tax Advisory Board, is being removed from this board via consent agenda since he chose not to resign per the request of the city attorney. I am sure that the mayor and council decided this in the February 4th executive session listed as boards and commissions. I find this removal technique that started under former Mayor Rigo and continues under Mayor Grego is highly egregious and will continue to disenchant any future volunteer board members. According to the bylaws, the removal of a board member needs to be performed once the board member has an ability to respond to a complaint. The city code states that a complaint turns this issue into a hearing where the person in question turns into a respondent, and the issuer of the complaint is the petitioner, and the council and mayor become the overseeing body to determine if the complaint is justified. Clearly, a complaint must have been made against Mr. Decker. Otherwise, why have him removed? A different member of this board was also sent a letter from the city attorney, yet this board member was given a warning. Why not give the same treatment to both individuals? I find this behavior biased and unprofessional. I believe that the complaint stems from criticism and unfavorable statements made about staff. I am aware that the city code also states that board members shall refrain from any negative talk of staff, council, or the city. How does the city hope to have any substantive and creative solutions if volunteer board members are unable to voice any criticism? This is a violation of the First Amendment, freedom of speech. You all swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. This supersedes the Charter of Trinidad and any subordinate bylaws. I ask you to give Mr. Decker the courtesy of having a hearing to state his case and to direct staff to remove this ridiculous bylaw that states that board members cannot be critical of staff or elected city officials. This is a controversial issue and thus should not be placed on the consent agenda with things such as approval of the minutes and approval of the bills. The optics are that it protects the government and not the citizens. This merely stymies growth, hinders opportunities, and promotes a narrow-minded future for our community. Respectfully submitted, Carlos R. Lopez. Item number 5, council reports. Mr. Williamson, do you have anything?
Other than a TPR board meeting on Thursday where we'll continue to lobby against the 2 TPRs being combined, the South Central and Southeastern. I have no other report than that.
Mr. Thurman?
Nothing to report right now.
Mr. Trujillo?
All right, I actually have requests this time. No shock. So I'm requesting a work session once again on the animal ordinance housekeepings. I have my form filled out here. Also, one of my big ones that I really wanted to ask for, a work session on the Opera House. There's been so many complaints on safety. If there was any way on a work session we can get an update on the condition and safety rating of the building. The citizens are extremely concerned, and especially walking by, it's starting to bow out, and I don't know how much longer that we can sustain having it there or a remedy. Also, I would like to request a work session on the schedule of fees again, so we can have look at the final adoption of it and finalize that. And last but not least, I'd like to request a work session so we can discuss the small purchases portion of the code. Please.
Okay. Is this everything?
That's everything. And they're all signed.
Okay. This is your,
No, that's her.
okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Shu?
I don't have anything right now. We have a meeting Friday with ARPA, and they were pretty much updated last week from ARPA. And Rick was down here, so we'll have some more information next week.
Okay. Mr. DeBona?
Nothing from the Los Angeles County Veterans Council this time.
Ms. Ogletree?
I don't have any events to report, but I did want to comment briefly on what's before us with the LTAB board, and I have been giving it a lot of thought and taking into account the different, what Mr. Decker presented to us for the meeting, and then what he read to us. And I think it is that some of the allegations that are being raised are serious allegations. I would really like for us to have also a work session on the functioning of this board, and so that we can also make sure that we are being as transparent as possible about the use of the funds that are being generated by the hotel industry in our city. And I think we need to kind of recenter ourselves on the idea that what generates those funds are people coming to Trinidad, spending the night or spending more than one night, and that we need to focus the funds on generating that kind of income for one thing, and make sure that that is what's happening with it, and so that everybody knows, everyone is clear how to find that information in the same way that we were very clear about marijuana funding, and we have it on the website. I think the same thing should be true, and I've gone on a little bit too long, but I do think it's worth our time to talk about that issue.
Mayor, I'd second that request for a work session, just
Okay.
to add weight to the request.
You know, I've been here, this is going on my 8th year, and it's just sad to me that this room is never filled unless there's something that the public deems to be controversial. I mean, I would love to have a work session where we could explain to you how those taxes are collected, where they're going to, and what projects they're going to. We're completely transparent. I mean, there's nothing that we do that you can't find that information. But you have to be here and be willing to communicate with us and be here not on a night when there's something that you deem that's controversial, but something where we can sit, I can talk to you, you can talk to me, and if there's something bothering you, then you can tell us about it. I think that's going to be a good idea. LTAB stands for Lodging Tax Advisory Board. So, just it always has been. I was the original member many years ago when this tax was first approved by the citizens, and it's never faltered from that. So I think it's a good idea we have a work session. But I ask that you that are shaking your heads and don't believe it to be here and listen to what we're trying to tell you. So thank you. I just have one other thing. Friday, we're having the monthly meeting of the Colorado Municipal League Policy Committee. What this is, just for those of you that are interested, the CML is an organization of municipalities throughout the state of Colorado. We come together, each community or county community designates a representative. I am the representative for the city of Trinidad on that board. So we go through and discuss House bills, Senate bills, whatever's going through the state legislature. We discuss how it affects big metro areas, how it affects small areas like Trinidad, and then we vote as a state. Do we approve this? Are we going to support it? Are we going to tell our legislators, no, this isn't good, and majority wins? Unfortunately, small rural areas like Trinidad are always on the winning end of this, but it's very important. So I didn't know if council wanted or somebody wanted to see what some of the items that we're going to discuss on Friday. I'm the voting member for the city of Trinidad. Councilman Trujillo is the alternate. So every meeting, somebody from Trinidad is there representing this community. So if anybody, I have one copy, if anybody's interested, I'll give it to Ms. Lopez and you can decide whether you want it. Item 6, consent agenda approval. Item 6A, approval of the regular meeting minutes of February 4th, 2025, and special meeting minutes of February 10th, 2025. Item 6B, reappointment of Lawrence Kiefer to the Library Advisory Board. Item 6C, removal of Jason Decker from the Lodging Tax Advisory Board. Item 6D, approval of bills totaling $2,298,493.20. Item 6E, approval of payroll February 15, 2025 through February 28, 2025. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Thurman, is that you?
Yes.
Okay. Call the vote, please.
DeBono,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Trahell,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Griego.
Yes. Item 7A, public hearings. Transfer of ownership of a tavern liquor license filed by Sancho's SPG LLC, doing business as Sancho's Sports Bar and Grill at 516 East Elm Street, formerly known as Sexy Pizza 5 LLC, doing business as Sexy Pizza. The hearing is now open.
Madam Mayor, council members, Mr. Harden, would you come up, please? Thank you. Mayor and council, this is Mr. Sam Harden. He is the legal counsel for the applicant this evening. And sir, could I ask you, do you also have Stephen Tapia with you?
We do.
Okay, could he come forward also, please?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Good evening, gentlemen.
How's it going, sir?
Good, how are you, sir? Good. So, Mayor and council members, as is indicated on your council communication, this is a transfer of ownership for Sancho's Bar and Grill. Yeah, I'm sorry if I get the name wrong, but that's, okay, good, thank you. And the transfer of ownership, that means, of course, that this is a requested takeover of an existing liquor license. The standards are the moral character of the majority applicant, that being Mr. Tapia, who has subjected himself to the background checks that are required for an application of this type, and also the age of the applicants being over 21. Those two things being met, it is essentially legally incumbent upon council to approve the transfer of ownership. And so those things, I think, are demonstrated from the packet. I wanted to make these gentlemen available, especially Mr. Tapia, if you had any questions of them. But that is all I have to say, and then if you have any questions.
Ms. Ogletree, do you have any questions? We'll start with you so I don't forget you.
I do not, sorry. Thank you.
No, I have none.
No. No questions.
Just one briefly. I'm presuming everybody in the establishment will be tips trained, or how are you?
Yes, sir.
How are you handling that?
Everybody serving alcohol will be tip trained.
All right. Other than that, there's nothing outside of the norm in the packet. So.
Right. And Mayor and council members, I sent you an email, and I let you know there have been no law violations in the time that this has been run by this organization. There have been none, and no liquor law violations, no law violations. So it has been conducted lawfully,
Okay.
just so you know for the record.
Anybody to speak for or against this transfer of this liquor license? Okay, there being none, the hearing is closed. I call for the vote for the transfer.
Mayor, we lost a council member. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
They're sneaky.
I know, that's right, they are. They sneak right out.
They sneak right out when I'm getting ready
Right.
to ask the question. Okay, hold on.
Sorry.
No, not your fault.
Wait on me, right?
When you don't hear anybody talking, we're waiting.
That's right.
Okay, I need motion to approve the transfer of the tavern liquor license.
So moved.
That's Mr. DeBono, second.
Second.
Mr. Shu seconded. Call the vote, please.
DeBono,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Trahell,
Yes.
Griego.
Yes. Item 7A1, the executive session. We don't need an executive session for this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Item 8, unfinished business, there is none. Item 9, miscellaneous business. Item 9A, consideration of the purchase of one 2024 Caterpillar 420 backhoe for the water department in the amount of $77,216.79. And hold on. Just to give the audience a little background on there. We obtained 3 bids with the low bid from Wagner Equipment Company, and we are trading in a piece of equipment that's giving you problems, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Continue on, Mr. Vito.
Okay, recommended city council action to approve the purchase of one Caterpillar 420 backhoe from Wagner Equipment Company. This backhoe will be used to replace the 2018 John Deere backhoe with 2,035 hours. We purchased this backhoe on 12/29 of 2017 for $90,035 from Four Rivers Equipment. We have had several issues with this backhoe since it acquired 1,246 hours. We took it to Four Rivers Equipment for repair. They were able to correct the issues for a while, but the same issues continue to remain. We have compiled $9,378 in service order repairs to Four Rivers Equipment so far, and it still has the same issues to date. We budgeted $90,000 in this year's budget in order to replace this backhoe. We received bids from Wagner Equipment, Four Rivers Equipment, and Titan Machinery for a new backhoe with a trade-in of our 2018 John Deere backhoe. Wagner Equipment Company came in with a low bid of $130,216.79 with a trading allowance of $53,000 and a net selling price of $77,216.79. I emailed Wagner Equipment all the service repair work that was done on the 2018 John Deere backhoe in order to be transparent. They are willing to honor this bid with the knowledge of repairs on this backhoe. They are also willing to give us an 84-month, 2,000-hour premier total machine warranty. When we buy these, normally they only come with like 12 months, and I think it's 1,000 hours. As municipals, we don't use these every day, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, like most contractors do. So we don't, the years will go by before we get the hours on the machines. So they were able to tailor the warranty more to suit us by giving us that 84-month and 2,000-hour warranty, since we don't put a lot of hours on our equipment. And that's what happened with us with that John Deere. As soon as the warranty expired, we started having problems with it. It was making like a grinding noise in it. So we took it up there. They took oil samples and replaced a bunch of fittings, and it worked for a while, but now it's starting to happen again. We took it back up there last year. They looked at it, did oil samples, cut the oil filter in half, found no metal in it. Don't know what's wrong with it. Kind of just said, keep using it. So, in order to save city taxpayers money in the long run, I think it's best to go ahead and trade it now while we still get good value for it. New equipment keeps going up in prices every year, and the longer we hold on to this, it's going to cost us money, and it's going to keep losing value. So I think it's in the best interest of the taxpayers to just trade it in now and move forward.
All right. Mr. Williamson.
Mark, I was just curious. It as the size backhoe it is a 420, and does it have all the features that you need, or is it a compromise in any capacity?
It's of equal, yes. It's going to have the 4-in-1 clamshell bucket, extend a hoe, 4-wheel drive. It's the same. It's equivalent to the 18 that we're trade-in.
Okay. I think you hit the nail on the head with mentioning equipment going higher and higher every year, and I think you did a good job with sourcing the extended warranty. I mean, it's quite an extension you received, and I think that'll help us with the intermittent use, so thank you for that.
What year is this backhoe, the new one?
The new one will be a 2024, the leftover
Got it.
24 off the lot.
And with the warranty, that should last you about to what?
84 months.
84 months, got it.
Yep, questions?
I think it's a great deal, something that is needed, and we keep ahead of the game. It's gonna keep costing us less, because if we Band-Aid, it's costing us more to Band-Aid everything than it actually is to replenish, so. Cool.
Mr. Shu?
None.
Mr. DeBono?
Mark, have we had past purchases from Wagner?
Not the water department.
No.
No, that's our first John Deere that we've had, was the water department.
Will it be your last?
Yes. I don't know if you looked at the bid tabs, but I believe they gave it the least as a trade-in on that, so.
Ms. Ogletree, do you have any questions?
I just wanted to acknowledge that when this backhoe has been in the service shop, you have not been able to use it to do the work of the city, right?
Correct.
So I think your reasoning is sound. We need one that works, that's not spending time outside of Trinidad trying to be repaired.
That's correct.
Thank you.
So how do you get it back and forth? Does a city employee have to?
We trailer it up.
So we're losing money on that too.
Mhm.
Is there such a thing as a lemon law for heavy equipment?
I'll look into that there.
You get one every now and then.
It can happen.
Yes.
I've heard of it, so I've been fortunate not to happen with me, but this might be one of the first times.
All right.
But I think it's best we just move forward.
All right, thank you. I need a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Trudeau moved, second.
Second.
Mr. Thurman seconded. Call the vote, please.
DeBono,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Trahell,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes,
Williamson,
Yes.
Griego.
Yes. Item 9B, consideration of change order number 1 for the Trinidad Water Storage Tank rehabilitation, specifically for the full exterior mitigation of the coatings at the north and south tank for $237,774. I guess that's you, Mr. V. Hill.
That'd be me again, in the meantime.
No.
Yeah,
I'd do as much as I would like to. They won't let me.
So what happened, as you know, we had $2 million available to us. We had the $1 million ARPA grant, and we had the $1 million dollar grants. The key here was we had to commit that $1 million ARPA grant by the end of last year, by December of last year, or we lose that $1 million. So we were at a shortfall of funding when we went this out to bid. So we had to put this out to bid last year before we had full available funding sources. We had applied for the state revolving fund loans, but we hadn't received that yet. So Black and Beach Engineering, who did the design, we put it out to bid in stages and phases. This way we could do as many tanks as we can. The goal was to try to get at least all the interior done, as much as possible with the exterior also. So what they did is they did the design to do a full interior and just overcoat the exterior. But the north side and south side tanks were built in 1967, and they have lead-based paint, both interior and exterior. So we went ahead and moved forward with the interior full lead abatement and just overcoat the exterior to get by. But since then, we've received $3.4 million through the state revolving fund loan. Of that 3.4, 2.2 million is forgiven, and we only have to finance the 1.2 million on a low 2.5% interest rate at 20 years. So they've come back and given us a price to do full lead abatement on the interior now. It'd be cheaper for us now. They're mobilized here now. It'll add about 29 years of life expectancy to the tanks by doing interior and exterior. The time lanes will be all simultaneous, same time, they won't have to come down and do them a different time basis. So that's what the change order is for, is to move forward since we have the funding to do everything all at one time now.
Ms. Ogletree, do you have any questions?
This all makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm glad that you thought it through. I think anything that makes this last longer is worthwhile, and with the savings that we've already accomplished, I think this makes a lot of sense, and I thank you for your proactive approach.
Mr. DeBona?
So it would cost more to do it into multiple phases.
Oh, sure. Everything keeps going. And with water, the rules and regulations with drinking water standards keep getting more and more stringent every year. So if we leave that lead-based paint on the exterior, it's a matter of time before they're going to come back and make us remove it. And it's just going to cost more down the road. So we're here now, it's just going to be cheaper for us to do it now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no questions.
I have no questions. Thank you for being proactive on this.
Sure.
Do you have the manpower to do both of these projects?
Yeah, it's WBS Coatings Incorporated got the bid, and they're providing all the manpower.
Gotcha.
So, in fact, they're started at the north side tank this week. The north side tank has just been drained, and they're going to start working on it now.
What's the timetable on that?
2.5 months per tank.
Okay.
2.5 months per day.
Per tank to do the interior and exterior.
Mr. Williamson?
Mark, obviously, as you proceed, there's always, conditions that couldn't be anticipated. However, with the knowledge you have now, is there any further high potential for change orders to your knowledge?
If any, it would be minimal, but nothing right now as we can see, unless the costs go up as far as, we have a tank bypass that needs to happen, and we got to install a pressure reducing valve to connect two zones together. The original bid was, we added $250,000 to take care of that. If it ends up costing a little bit more than that, it shouldn't be much, but just minimal change orders based on those. They just did some engineer's estimate, kind of figure out what those costs would be. So, but nothing major. This would probably be the only major one we'll see.
So, in a nutshell, after we had the loan forgiveness, we're able to just have a better end product.
Oh, yes.
And
Definitely.
Initially, we were trying to be exceptionally frugal because we didn't know all our funding sources at the time.
That's correct.
Okay. I have no further questions, Mayor.
I have no questions either, just my water pressure better be good.
We've already experienced a few calls with lower pressure than normal, and that's to be expected as long as nobody's out of water.
Okay, I have your cell phone number.
You do?
No, I think this is, we pride ourselves in Trinidad about the quality of our drinking water, and it would be foolish if we didn't try to protect it as much as possible.
I agree.
Yes,
So
sir.
we have the funding to do it. So.
Thank you for everything you do, especially on this project. It's been massive.
Well, we thank council for your support. So.
Anytime. I need a motion to approve the change order.
So moved.
Shoe motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Trujillo seconded, call the vote please.
Williamson,
Yes.
Treville,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
DeBono,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Grego.
Yes. Item 10, reports by city manager and city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Just a point of clarification on the marijuana tax received. That is a sales tax that is general fund. The utilities cannot, well, they can request use of some of that money, but it's only by state statute 10% of their overall budget. So these projects that we're doing now, very little that could have come from marijuana tax anyway. So I know sitting around staff meetings and stuff, analyzing where to spend this marijuana money, the utility enterprises had to just sit there and watch. Trust me, they wanted to use it, but by state statute they can't. So that being said, and the LTAB board, I've I've been here a little bit, and I've only been to several of their meetings, and they requested reports of the spending, and I told them I'm working on it. And we're looking to add to the website, like the marijuana sales tax, spreadsheet that's there. It's going to take some work, but I think you can receive quarterly reports on that as well. So, along with your reports from Cheryl on the money spent. We are audited yearly, pass every audit. We are scrutinized beyond scrutiny, so I feel very comfortable with the way we're spending. I don't think it's going anywhere with that, but anyway, that's enough said there. The city manager search, I believe, Donna, March 3rd has been finalized for the 5 finalists to be interviewed, with the schedule that you'll be getting it. It's a full day. There's 5 of them, and so March 3rd.
March 3rd.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's all I have, unless there's a question.
Massive question. Mr. Valentine, has the panel for the second interview group been established?
Yeah, excuse me. We're contacting those people now to see if they could schedule in there. It has not been finalized, but I've taken council's recommendations, and we're trying to schedule those all in. Community leadership panel.
Well, we wish you luck in putting yourself out to work.
I'm working hard at it. Thank you.
Anybody have questions for Mr. Valentine? No. Mr. Downs.
I'm sorry, Mayor, Council, no report.
Oh.
So I know, I can tell. You're disappointed. I know. Because we'll get out before 7 if I don't have a report. That's right. Yeah, so that's, doing it for Councilman Shu.
Item 11, adjournment, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. Adjournment, seconded. Call the vote, please.
DeBono?
Yes.
Shu?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Truhill? Yes. Ogletree?
Yes.
Williamson?
Yes.
Griego?
Yes. Thank you all for attending. I hope you have a good one.